This is Chris Medeiros. Like, subscribe to TNW Wrestling on YouTube. Subscribe to my other channel, Chris Medeiros, and subscribe to this channel, Word of Chris. And follow me on Twitter, Instagram. It'll all be down there in the description box. And I'm here to do my Attack on Titan Season 4, Episode 24 review, or Season 4, Part 2, Episode 8 review. So here we go, discussing about Attack on Titan, and it was titled Pride. So this episode of Attack on Titan, it was a pretty good episode. So what happened was, you know, so in last week's episode matches up with what happened in the beginning of this week's episode. So in last week's episode, we seen Hanji and Levi pretty much meeting up with Peak and them, and pretty much that's where we left off of from last week's episode. And then we transition to this week's episode with Hanji pretty much, after she found Levi, she helped him out by, wrapping up his hands and stitching up his face and wrapping his face up and everything, so he wouldn't pretty much bleed out and all that, and saying, like, wow, I guess it's because of your acronym that you still survive somehow. So yeah, that's what happened. But then what happened was everybody went into like Aaron's like world or whatever, to pretty much listen to him. Pretty much that's what happened to Hanji and Levi as well. And that's what happened. It happened in an instant like that. And then all of a sudden, Hanji was like, that was Aaron and all that. And then all of a sudden, Levi wakes up immediately right after that. So apparently, he woke up Levi. And Levi's like, where's Zeke? Like, he still wants to fight. So yeah, Levi was wondering where Zeke was at. And apparently, he got to what happened. He said, well, I botched the whole thing, Um, I screwed up the whole plan by taking him out and everything. So yeah, that's what Levi was saying. And Levi, he raised up his hands, and you could tell that he's missing some fingers. So yeah, that damage from the explosion like messed him up bad, losing some fingers, damaging his legs. Face was cut up and stuff until Hanji actually stitched it up for him and all that. So yeah, that's what pretty much happened to Levi. And then that's when Levi, uh, well, that's when Hanji pretty much had that thing created or whatever, that wagon, and then put Levi in it carrying him, and that's how they met up with Peak, and pretty much they now team up now. So yeah, Peak and the Commander. I keep on forgetting his name. He's with the Marlins. And then we go to the next scene with Connie and them, and apparently it was so what happened was Connie was with Falco still, but this time they had like a bonfire, and then Falco's apparently asleep. And Connie was like, man, he didn't even question me one time or anything. And this is the time when everybody's asleep, by the way, like Mikasa and all of them, they're trying to go to bed, and yet they're still awake or whatever. But we seen Armin and Gabby still looking for Connie and Falco still. So yeah, that's what was going on there. But yeah, Connie was talking about, like, man, he actually trusts me. He still never even questioned me one time. That's what Connie was saying. And Connie was like, I wonder what Sasha would do at this point in time and all that stuff. And then the next day rolls around, and Connie Falco goes all the way up where Connie's mom is at, and she's still a Titan and everything. And Connie, and then Falco was like, I heard what you was talking about last night about Sasha. Sasha's is one of your partners, huh? And, Connie was shocked about that. And then Falco was like, yeah, I heard you talking to yourself last night. So, yeah, that's what happened there. And then Connie grabs Falco, about to feed him to his mom. And Falco don't know that he gets Jaw Titan powers yet. And then all of a sudden we see Armin and Gabby come up, and Gabby's telling Falco to go ahead and turn into the Jaw Titan. And of course Falco got he lost his memories and stuff, talking about Jaw Titan. I don't get the Jaw Titan abilities. That's Gillard that gets the Jaw Titan abilities. So yeah, that's what they were saying. And then Armin was telling Connie, don't do that or whatever. And Connie was like, no, I want to turn my mom back into a human again. So he was climbing up the ladder to go ahead and feed Falco to his mom and everything. But then Armin, Connie grabs a blade, puts it up to Falco's throat, and says, "Come near me and I'll kill him," and all that. So yeah, that's what he was saying. And then Armin, instead, he gets up there onto the roof, and he's right above Connie's mom. And Connie was like, "I told you don't move," and Armin was like, "Shut up." And then he jumps off, about to feed himself to Connie's mom. But then Connie grabs Falco, throws him down, and then jumps and saves Armin from getting eaten from Connie's mom. So yeah, uh, Connie didn't want Armin to sacrifice himself, and then they all stopped and upset and everything about that. So yeah, that's what happened there. So yeah, Connie did not feed Falco, and Armin was straight about to commit suicide, but Connie saved him as well. So yeah, a little good scene right there, I guess. And then we go to the next scene and we seen Armin, Connie, Gabby, and Falco. They're all eating and stuff at this place, and then apparently we see this girl. She's eating right next to him, and then all of a sudden it was Annie. So yeah, they accidentally spotted each other, Annie and Armin and all of them, and they were shocked that they'd seen each other. And Connie was like, huh, just started laughing, talking about like Annie stuffing her face like a pig or whatever, laughing about that. Armin was like, well, of course she has 8 years. So yeah, and that's what happened there. And apparently, then we seen Hitch come back, with some pie or whatever, and Annie done dipped out with Armin and them. She left a note and said, yeah, she went with Armin and Connie and them after she found them. So yeah, and then Hitch was like, man, I can't eat this pie all by myself. And then she was eating all by herself, being lonely and stuff. So yeah, Annie has went with Armin and Connie and them now. So yeah, and then in the next scene, we see with John and Flotch. Flotch is telling John, like, all the Jaegers is up there surrounding them and everything. And we see Yelena and Al Capone on their knees tied up and everything. And Flotch is telling John to go ahead and kill both of them. And then all of a sudden, we see Al Capone's face, getting scared and everything. And then the scene, it points to the scene, like, away from the shots or whatever, and then all of a sudden we see John shooting, and it was like 4 shots, and then all of a sudden we go back to the scene, and Al Capone and Yelena was okay. John shot the ground, and Flotch was like, "What happened, John? Why didn't you kill him?" And John was like, "I'm sorry, I missed." And then all of a sudden we see the Cart Titan come up and capture John, Al Capone, and Yelena as well, and they escape. So yeah, that's what happened. And then John all of a sudden, he got out the core Titan's mouth, started throwing up, saying he would never get in a Titan's mouth ever again. And yeah, John, Al Capone, and Yelena was saved. And yeah, apparently they have all joined forces now. Al Capone was asking John, like, how did you came up with this plan with Marlians, like, teaming up with them? And John was saying, he was like, well, I teamed up with them last night and everything, and then the 4 shots was a plan to tell them to come up and save us. So yeah, that's what John was telling Al Capone. And then Yelena was saying to them, like, why did they save her? Like, why didn't they let her die? And they said, and then Pete was like, it's because of them or whatever. And then we see Yelena and the commander from Marlins. I keep on forgetting his name. It starts with M, but I keep on forgetting his name. And yeah, they were staring at each other's eyes. And then, yep, that was the end. So yeah, that was the end of the episode. It was a pretty good one. So yeah, subscribe to Team W Wrestling on YouTube, subscribe to my other channel, Chris Menails, and subscribe to this channel, Word of Chris, and follow me on Twitter and Instagram, and I'll be down there in the description box. And this has been my Attack on Titan review. And yeah, I'll see you guys later until next week's episode review. See you guys later until then.